Hey guys, Oosters here and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. Today we'll actually be doing an updated Phantom Knight deck profile, and for good reason, because today I actually participated in the Benelux second extravaganza and I actually won the entire event going undefeated 7-0. So that seems like a pretty good opportunity to take a look at the deck. But first I want to point out how great the event was run, and I actually had a lot of fun, a lot of more fun than I had at the previous remote rule events I played. Hanging out in the Discord lounge was really a lot of fun and almost reminiscent of playing actual events, so thanks everybody who was there and made it a good time for me. And secondly, I want to shout out Tatsim, Marijn. He actually also played Phantom Knight today and he went 6-1, ending on 5th place, I'm pretty sure. I will be posting a link to his video down below, so be sure to check that out. I will be taking a look at my deck list, of course, in this video, and then at the end I'll actually do like a little, show a little deck breakdown and just, talk about my matchups and my thoughts. And yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into the deck profile. Okay guys, so let's just dive straight into the deck profile, and I'll just talk about some new concepts of the deck, because the deck did, it did change as opposed to my previous build, but I'll talk about stuff like that when we get there. For now, we're obviously still playing triple Thorn Scales. It's just a 1-card starter. Basically this card on its own is all of the combos that end on Dragoon and the rank 4 and Rusty. And then if you have a certain amount of extenders, you can even go into Appaloosa and both those cards, or Appaloosa and one of those, and Fogblade. So yeah, this is obviously just a tree-off. Then, as opposed to my previous build, I actually did remove one boot, so I'm just now playing 2 boots. The reason for this is, basically I swapped it out with an actual extender. I mean, this is not really an extender, because in all the combos you use it anyway, even though it can sort of function as an extender in case they, negate Thorn Scales for whatever reason, because then you can just summon it and do the combo as usual. But it's not an actual extender, and I actually found that in pretty much all the matches I played, more than 2 wasn't necessary. The 3rd never came up. I also never missed it today, just because, the deck is pretty explosive and the games tend to not last that long. But yeah, 2 for me was, it was pretty good, and like I said, I just swapped it out for an actual extender, so I didn't really miss that. I definitely think this is correct for now. Then I'm still playing 2 Cloak, just in case when you're playing against some of the grind decks, it's just really important you have 2 of those, and if you get stopped during your combo one time, then you need another one to start playing, and this just, also helps you get extending to the boots or any card you need, basically, while you are, in your second turn, basically, after they've tried to break your feud, etc. And also, this plus this, or this plus any extenders, actually also the full combo. So that's why that's pretty nice. The same goes for Ragged Gloves. This plus any extenders, also full combo. And it's just a stepping stone for the normal combo, basically. But you could potentially even play the deck. I mean, I've seen people... Sorry, I should... That's exactly the opposite of what's true. Because I've seen people not play this, but you definitely you need this one just to facilitate your normal combo, because you can't do it if this is not in the deck. So yeah, that's why we're still playing one of this. And it's still a starter with... any extender. So yeah, we're just playing the 8 PKs. For now, I think this ratio is perfectly fine. Would highly recommend playing this if you're playing this deck. Then I'm still on the tour guide package. I've seen people talk about cutting this or whatever, but that's crazy talk in my opinion. This card is just amazing, especially in combination with Gagamucha Knight. This card is so powerful. It's also the full combo plus an additional Fogblade, actually, if you do it the right way. And it really helps you if you have this and Gagamucha Knight. It's really easy to go into Appaloosa as well, before there's any good opportunity for your opponent to Nibiru. This actually happened a lot this tournament. I got Nibiru quite often, but it actually didn't matter at pretty much any point. There's 0 games I lost to Nibiru even when it happens. And then of course to facilitate her and Cherubini, I am playing the BAs. I did try Edge Imp Sabers for a while because Sir Emanon played it and his theory on that seemed pretty sound, but I actually found this card. Basically, it's just better if you draw this, because if you draw this, you can still use it as an extender while you have Cherry Beating already on the field, and there was just, you know, situations where that came up while the graveyard effect of Edge Imp Sabers being live on the following turn almost never came up, actually. So yeah, I was perfectly fine with the Libic over the Edge Imp Saber, basically, and of course you need to play these. But yeah, that's it for the Burning Wisp package, basically. Then for the actual extenders, I am still playing 3 Kagamucha Knight. This card is really good. It helps you chain block Tour Guide, which is actually the most important reason to play it. Aside from that, it's not... Ideally, the extenders you want to play, you can just activate at any time or summon at any time, and this is obviously not one of those. But I still think it's really good for the chain blocking reason, and it did come up a lot today. So I'm glad I did decide to play 3. Also, often if you have Reinforcement of the Army and Tour Guide, you just Rota for this instead of Thornskill, and you can do that line of play. Then the best extenders, in my opinion, are the Dangers, because you can just summon them at any point. And also they are dark, and I actually did have a few times today where I had to sequence my plays. In a way I preferred not to, because most of my extenders are actually not, or not most of my extenders are not dark, but some of my extenders are not dark, and that actually came up. And then the new additions to the deck are 1 Psychic Wielder, which you can just summon if there's a level 3 on the field, so that's good for obvious reasons. And then this should be a Psychic Tracker, but I somehow couldn't find any of those in my commons. So I figured I'd just play another level 3 extender. And this one's also Surtuara Rota, so if you have like Tour Guide Rota and Kagamucha Knight, you can potentially Rota for this, and then you have a lot of extenders. You can do the Appaloosa Dragoon rank 4 combo, which is pretty good. I did actually have a match today against Shadow where I drew this and I thought it was Tracker, so I went like normal Ash, and then I want to special this, but I obviously couldn't because it's not Tracker. Well, it should be, I just couldn't find it. But yeah, it didn't matter in the long run because I was already in a commanding position anyway, but obviously that was a little bit stupid of me, and this should definitely be a Tracker if you are playing this deck, in my opinion, just because it's the superior extender of these. So yeah, that's 7 extenders, 8 if you call, if you know, count Reinforcement of the Army, which is also in the deck, of course. And then for the hand traps, I decided to play 3 Ash. This is just the most generic hand trap. It has utility against pretty much everything. And especially, I did, because it's the Netherlands, I figured a lot of people would be playing roguish strategies, or like Eldlik, where this card is pretty good. Especially in this deck, right? I mean, there are decks where, if you're, you know, trying to grind, Ash is actually not good against Eldlik, but if you're just trying to shell off their Sanguine and then kill them on the same turn, then I think Ash is perfectly fine against Eldlik. And, you know, just good against rogue decks. And then, because the decks I was mostly scared of were Drytron and Virtual World, I did opt to play 3 Draw and Lockbird. Like my friends were saying, I probably should play different cards instead of this, but I figured I could probably beat all the other decks, you know, pretty reliably, and I just didn't want to lose to Virtual World or Drytron, and this card is just really good against those, especially against Drytron, which I did end up not playing against actually, but I'm still really happy I played this. It also came up against Dino and the likes, so yeah. 6 hand traps in the main deck. I am playing 9 going second cards, as you'll see later, and then I'm playing these, of course, because I just really think you have to play Dragoon in this deck. Anyway, Reinforcement of the Army, this is obvious. Call by the Grave should also be relatively obvious, especially since a lot of people are playing hand traps right now, and it can also be a defensive card. So yeah, I'm still playing the Reborn. I just think it's really good as an extender, especially against cards like Nibiru. And, you know, it comes up. It's also good if you go to Thornskill and they pop it with Trident or something, then you can just Reborn and continue playing. So yeah. And then I am playing the 1 Red Eyes Fusion, of course. I'm not playing the other Fusion anymore. It was pretty funny, but it's just another brick in the deck, and 1 is perfectly fine, to be honest. The other Dragoon never came up really, and then to supplement the hand traps, I'm playing Droplet. This is just really good going second against Drytron specifically, and then against Virtual World it can also be really good. And I was just scared of losing 2 cards like Border and other random Netherlands stuff, so I'm still playing this. It also just synergizes with the Phantom Knight cards pretty well. So yeah, and of course it's good against opposing Dragoons, even though it's not that hard to beat for Phantom Knight. And then for the traps, I'm still just playing 3 Fogblade and the Shade Brigandine. People, please play this card. It's like, this card literally won me so many games because I could just search the additional extender with Cloak or Boots. I really feel Wings is not necessary at all, to be honest. Sometimes it can be good, you know, if you for the graveyard effect, but it actually, like, it might come up in the grind game, but in all the combos, just having 1 Fogblade to revive is enough. And again, it's just another, like, it's good to have in the deck and to be able to send it, but it's not good to draw at all. So I think this is pretty much the perfect trap ratio for the Phantom Knight traps. Main deck, 40 cards as always. Then moving on to the extra deck, starting with the Exceeds, I'm playing the 1 Levier for the combo, 2 Break Swords. Because you use 1 in the first turn combo, and then, you know, the second one might come up while trying to break a board, and it definitely does. So this, you should definitely play 2. Then I'm still playing the Nightmare. I don't think it's that good anymore as it was in the previous format, because, you know, Dragon Link isn't that popular anymore. Even though we might see a rise in popularity for this event, it didn't yet. And this card, like, I'm not saying it's bad against Drytron or Virtual World, but it's just not as impactful as it is against the Dragon Link deck. Then actually the new addition to the deck is the Time Thief Redoer. I had some space in the extra deck because I cut the second Anaconda and Dragoon. And I really wanted to play a rank 4 that's good against trap decks basically, and this is definitely it. Because if they're playing a lot of traps, it can attach a trap and then you can use that as to spin something away. And basically every turn it sort of generates advantage. And this just doesn't do anything against trap decks, so it's just good to have an option in the deck aside from IP. 5 Exceeds. For the links, I am playing the 1 Link Spider because you need it for the combo. And then, you know, if you have, you're in a game state where you have Seer on the field, and in Nibiru you can, with Seer, bring back Cherubini and then make this with the Nibiru token and then go into Verte, so you still end on at least 1 Disrupt, and of course you just need it to go into Verte with Shade Brigandine. And then I'm also playing Almirage now. This is basically just if I happen to brick and I just have like a cloak or a boots or the regular gloves, because all of them can just go into this, and then you can add this, make the Link Spider, and then with those 2 you can go into Versa Anaconda. So that's the reason I'm playing this. And sometimes it also comes up where you just while you're grinding you just need to link one of your guys away. For Link 1, actually it didn't come up this tournament, but I definitely think it's a good option to have in the extra deck. Then of course I'm playing Cherubini, I'm playing IP. This is basically just for if you hard draw the Red Eyes Fusion, you just make that instead of Verte. And then against back row decks is also it's also pretty good. I am playing the 1 Predaplant Link, the Verte Anaconda to make Dragoon. I definitely think this is mandatory in the Phantom Knight deck, but people really don't seem to understand why this card is so important. The reason this card is important is not because it brings out Dragoon. That's not why it's good at all. Like, obviously something like Requiem Dragon is actually better than that. The reason you should always be playing this is it means that regardless of how many hand traps your opponent plays, basically, you can always end on the Dragoon. And if they have used a lot of hand traps and you have like Dragoon and Fogblade, usually that will be enough to actually win you the game. So I definitely think this is a staple in this deck. Playing Access Code Talker, the Rusty of course, Unicorn to break boards or to combo with the IP. Then I'm playing the Appaloosa. I actually did the Appaloosa combo a lot today. I feel it's just really good against both Drytron and Virtual World, the Appaloosa. So going for something like Appaloosa for 3, Dragoon, Fogblade against those decks is actually really strong. And then of course the last card in the extra deck is the Dragoon. Then moving on to the side deck. More hand traps are Nibiru, just against, you know, combo decks. stuff like Prank Kids, I really hate that deck, so I wanted to have something against that. Then I'm playing Lancia's cards is really good against Virtual World, which is mostly why I sided it, but also it's just really good against Dinosaur, and of course the mirror match. And I did have to play 2 Dinos, so it was pretty nice to have this. It won me one of the matches as well. Then, so this is like a little bit strange, but I was playing 1 Exceed Encore. I think the virtual matchup for this deck's not that good, so it being really popular is kind of, you know, not optimal. So I actually wanted to play 3 Exceed Encore, so I would just have a lot of cards to go second against the deck to not lose to VFD. But I actually couldn't get a playset before this weekend, so I ended up just playing this one. Luckily I only played against 1 Virtual World, and I did win the die roll, so I didn't lose to VFD 2 games. But yeah, I would definitely try to play 3 of this if I had the option. And then, just because this is the Netherlands and the Eldlik is super popular here, I was actually playing Triple Twin Twister, Triple Lightning Storm, and Red Reboot. As you can see, my main deck is really geared to actually beating other combo decks with the hand traps and stuff, and the droplets. So I wanted to be able to, you know, take out cards like Droll and Droplet for cards like this. I did decide to swap out Cyclone for Twin Twister just because Cyclone is better in the grind game against Eldlik, obviously, but this just gets rid of more back row, and you usually just want to seal the game on that on the first turn against that deck, basically. And that, you know, this card just takes out 2 back row, and Cyclone only takes out 1, so that's why I figured this was better. And then the last card in my Select Imperial Order, I just decided this in going first against pretty much everything, against cards like Dark Ruler, Droplets, stuff like that. So yeah, that is the deck. So yeah guys, that was the deck. It performed great. I did brick a couple of times, and I should note that actually in the finals, in the very last round, I opened Red Ice Fusion all 3 of my games, but I did win the second game, especially because I drew Red Ice Fusion. But yeah, the tournament was actually filled with meta decks. I mean, especially for like an event in the Netherlands and, you know, Belgium. A lot of people tend to play rogue decks here, but this time, I mean, there were still a lot of rogue decks, obviously, because that's just, you know, the nature of the game. But there were also a lot of competitive decks like Virtual World, Drytron, Eldlik variants, etc. And I actually ended up playing versus just meta decks this tournament. To go over my matchups really quick, I wrote them down here. In the first round I played against Virtual World. I won the die roll, so basically that caused me to win because game 1 I comboed him. Then game 2 he VFD'd me, and then game 3 I comboed him again. Then round 2 I played against a very good friend of mine. I used to be in Dutch League card gaming with him. He's just basically playing for fun. He doesn't really have any new cards. He was playing Paleozoic, and the game was actually, you know, it was really hard. Probably if I didn't have access to a monster, top deck monster in the last turn of the game, I probably would have lost. I lost the die roll here, and I just lost to Swap Frog Desire, set 5 basically game 1. Then round 3 I played against Shadow. Basically I got kind of lucky here. Game 1 I just comboed him and he couldn't break the field. He didn't see Shadow Fusion. This was not like the trap deck, but actually more like a combo-ish version of Shadow. And then game 2, I think he just bricked, and I just didn't, so I beat him. Then in the 4th round I played against actually someone who frequently comments on my channel, which is Charlotte Katakuri. That's his YouTube name, obviously not his real name. Huge shout out to him. I had a blast playing him. Unfortunately he actually bricked both the games we played, I have to say, so we didn't really play a proper match, but he was a great sport about it, and just all around great guy. I had a great time playing him, so shout out to you. Then in the 5th round I played against Zoo, Dogma, Eldlik. This game was pretty hard as well. If I remember correctly, I lost the first game, but then game 2 and 3 I did manage to win. Mostly he was playing like every graveyard hate card in the world, so I just basically went into a hard make Dragoon, set Fogblade, the latter 2 games, which was really hard for him to beat because there's basically no hand trap that interacts with that. And he really relies on having to attack with an Exceed to actually, you know, go into Zeus and break the field. And with Fogblade it's really hard unless he has access to Ram. So that actually cost me to win. Then both the 6th and the 7th round I played dinos. I think both rounds I went first in game 1 and then I just got blown out by hand traps and dino cards. Actually in the last match I got blown out by Mystic Mine and dino cards. But then after that I made them start and OTK'd them. And then in the 3rd game of the 6th round, I don't really remember what happened. I think he just didn't drew like a suboptimal hand and he couldn't break my board, so I beat him. And then in round 7, I think... Oh, he actually opted to go first in the 3rd game, but I had Lancia, and then he just had to pass on basically just Oviraptor, and my hand was, I think, Boots and Gloves, which is basically full combo, so I just went into Rusty Bardic boosted by Cloak and Exasco Talker with 5300, which is 82 damage in total, so I did manage to win that, that match as well, so I ended 7-0, pretty good performance, if I must say, so I was really, you know, happy with this deck. I must say, there weren't a lot of like Blazing Vortex decks or cards I saw in the tournament, if any at all, to be honest. I don't think I saw, I just saw basically the new Virtual World trap in the Virtual World deck, but I didn't see any pots or anything. But to be fair, that might be just because, you know, it's short notice and it's hard to get the cards right now. So, we'll see how much the new set will actually impact the meta. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed your deck profile. If you did manage to make it this far, please be sure to like, leave a comment if you have something to say, and subscribe if you haven't yet. It would be greatly appreciated. And until next time.